Hi everyone, it's Christine Denny here from Tapatakoz, and today I've had a question about how do you find a good tap teacher. So for all you dance schools out there, studio principals, you understand how difficult it can be to find a good tap teacher. As you would understand, tap dance is a very specific technique and it requires somebody who has studied tap and who can teach tap. So it's not really like other genres where you can put your classical ballet teacher in and they can sort of cover your jazz class or they can cover your contemporary class. When you're offering tap classes in your dance school, you really need to have somebody who has a firm grasp and understanding of tap dance. So my top 3 tips for finding a really great tap teacher are these. Number 1, when you're interviewing this person, make sure that they have a passion for teaching. That's the number 1 tip, because you don't want somebody who's your regular tap teacher who actually really wants to be a tap dance performer, because that means they're going to be going away all the time and you're not going to get that structure and that reliability in your tap classes, and that's what builds technique. It also builds trust with your students when they have the same teacher year after year. That teacher can see how those children are progressing, not only in terms of their technique, but also in terms of their emotional development, what they can cope with, how they learn, how they progress, how they're interacting with the other members of the class, how far you can push them, whether they need to be stepping up to the plate or whether you need to relax and let them just grow a little more organically. And that all is determined by their personality, which a lot of you out there who are professional teachers will know. So number 1 tip when you're choosing your tap teacher, make sure that they love teaching tap. Make sure that they're a bit of a tap nerd, like me, someone who loves finding out how can I convey that rhythm to that student? How do I get that student to understand what an even rhythm is? So for instance, a shuffle, when you first learn a shuffle, the rhythm is ba-ba, 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 which I call in my tapatakoz world, I call that an accented shuffle, ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-ba. But when they get older or they're doing more complex rhythms, you often use an even shuffle, which is going ba, 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 ba. So the brush out and the brush back have an even value. So you want a teacher who understands all that, but also knows how to impart that to the class. So it needs to be somebody who's passionate about teaching and who finds all that sort of stuff, rhythm, the placement of accent, the joys of dance and tap, and they know the history of tap and they just love all things tap and they want to communicate that to your students. That's who you want teaching your tap classes. So number 1, someone who absolutely loves tap dancing and is invested in the transfer of knowledge and their passion of tap to the next generation. Number 2, you want someone who can actually tap dance. And I always remember years ago, I went for a job interview to teach tap with a lovely lady called Dolores Dunbar. And I'll never forget, she asked me to actually tap in front of her. No one had ever done this before, but she said, well, show me what you can do. And I was like, okay. So I just got up and I just started tap dancing. And she could see from that I could actually tap dance. Number 1, I could get up off the cuff and I could do something. And I can't remember what else she asked me to do. She might have actually asked me to teach something like, if you were teaching something, how would you do it and what would you be saying to the students? So I taught a little sort of, heel pick up, step heel, heels, paradiddle, you call them in America, combo, and explained why I was doing it, where the accent was, blah, blah, blah. She could tell that I knew how to teach tap. I was younger then, so I hadn't developed my reputation then, but she could sort of tell that I knew what I was doing. So number 1, make sure your teacher is passionate about teaching tap. Number 2, make sure they can actually tap dance. Sounds obvious, but important. Number 3, make sure the person that you choose to teach tap in your dance school is invested in your dance school, invested in your dance community, and they have a plan to stick around for a couple of years at least. You want someone who wants to be at your school to see the children develop over a number of years. This is how you really get traction in your tap department. You need someone who's going to be there, who's committed and wants to be there for a long time. So if you can find someone who satisfies these 3 criteria, so number 1, they're passionate about teaching, not performing, Maybe they've done some performing in their life and they love performing as well. Great. But you want someone who loves teaching. Teaching is an art form, and it's just as important as being a performer. We're teaching the next generation. So you want someone who takes great pride in being a teacher. They want to teach. They're invested in teaching, number one, and they can convey knowledge. Number two, you want someone who is invested in your students, who's going to be there for a long period of time. And number three, you want somebody who's going to stick around. Okay, so number three. I've got number two and number three mixed up. Number two was you want someone who can actually tap dance. And number three is you want somebody who's going to stick around for a number of years. When I was teaching in my youth, I just loved being part of the communities that I was part of. So my main two teaching positions were with Brent Street in Sydney and ED5, which then became ED5 International. Now, Brent Street, I think I was there for 8.5 years. And ED5, I was there for, I think, 6 or 7 years. And those tap departments, they really grew when I was there with them. Now, Brent Street, I was part of a whole tap team. I wasn't the only tap teacher there, but I was teaching alongside the most incredible teachers. And that really informed my quality as well, being surrounded by other teachers who were just amazing in every discipline. You know, the jazz teachers, everybody was incredible. And so I got to learn from that, and that was wonderful. But there was a whole team of staff there, and it was the same sort of 3 tap teachers over that period of time. And they had so many students. We had in every age group, we had beginner, intermediate and advanced levels within each age group. So we had about 15 tap classes, and the teachers rotated year on year around through all those classes. So those children had a lot of, the whole tap department had a real vibe. And the kids wanted to be involved in it, you know, because it was all these teachers who were there all the time. They were doing great routines. They knew what they were getting. There was that stability and consistency. And that's what you need in your teaching. Professional tap dancers are absolutely amazing. And I've always encouraged my students to go and do workshops and bring people in to choreograph routines. In fact, I used to do a lot of that. People would bring me in to choreograph routines for competitions and performance all over Australia. So in my youth, that's what I was doing a lot of. I was choreographing a lot of competition routines, both solos and groups, and traveling all around the country doing that. But that was during the holiday times. During term time, the 4 terms, I was there at the studios that I taught for. So yeah, I highly recommend when you're looking for a tap teacher, it's so important. You want someone who loves tap and who's great at tap. And you want to be able to entrust them to teaching all your tap. And I often advise my clients to give that person a title, make them head of the tap department. If you want people to come and join your tap classes, you want them to be exciting, and you want the person running the show to be excited and passionate about tap. You don't want tap dance to be the leftover thing at your dance school, which is often the case. Often there's a big focus on ballet, and everyone's doing these big ballet international competitions. All the focus is on jazz and funk and hip hop, or it's on contemporary. And so everybody's focused on that. And then the studio principal says, why don't people do tap? Oh, tap's too hard. No, tap's not too hard. It just has a specific technique that is easy, well, not easy to learn. When you have the steps, you can master how to teach tap and how to tap yourself. You just have to put the time in and have a great system that can help you do that, which is what tapatakoz does. It gives you all the building blocks so you can teach from the 5-year-olds all the way through. So it's like a roadmap to our successful tap classes. But the fundamental underpinning is having the great teachers. The teachers are everything. They're the heart and the soul of your business, and the tap teacher is no different. If you invest in your tap teacher, you find someone who's great and you give them the time and the resources within your dance school, and they get included in performance opportunities and all these sort of things, and you have someone who has those 3 characteristics. Number 1, they love teaching tap. Number 2, they are a great tap dancer themselves. And number 3, they want to invest in your community and they want to stick around for a while. You can create an absolutely fantastic tap department that can be doing wonderful percussive things and tap dancing and performing out. And it can be a thriving exciting, dynamic part of your dance school. And that's what I'm really trying to get going now across the world, is inspire dance schools who have a great classical department or a great contemporary department, great acrobatics, great cheer squads, all these other things. You too can have a great tap department too. Tap is the soul and the rhythm of life. You know, you're tapping. It's rhythm with your feet. It is a great entry genre discipline to offer in your dance school. And if you're struggling with your tap, you can have a great tap department. I've taken tapatakoz into dance schools that were really, you know, the tap department was pretty sad. There was nothing happening there. The kids weren't very interested. The quality wasn't very good. And with consistent effort following our program, these schools have been winning tap competitions. The teachers are confident teaching tap. The children in schools love tap. They want to do tap. They're enrolling in the tap dance classes. But the fundamental start is to have great teachers. If you're a smaller school, maybe you've got one tap teacher and they do all the tap across your school. If you're a huge school, you might have 3 tap teachers and one of them who's the head of the tap department, and they're all on the same page, doing their own individual style and everything, being cool, but they're there year in, year out for at least 3 or 4 years, and that's where you're going to really see a huge change in the tap dance in your dance school. Anyway, I hope that is of interest to you, and if you have any comments, please leave it in the comments below. And I'd love to answer any questions that you have that are tap dance related. And finally, please click the subscribe button if you're interested in hearing more about tap dance and even just the joy of teaching. I really want to inspire the next generation to look at teaching as a career option, because often at the moment it's all about being in TikTok videos or being an influencer or being a performer, and it's all about being on the stage. And I find that really sad, because the art of teaching is you give so much, but you get back so much in your heart and your soul. To see children develop and grow and learn something that they never knew before, and to see their personalities grow as well. Any dance teacher out there who's really invested in teaching and loves teaching and has had a lifetime of teaching will tell you they would never have done anything else. Despite the challenges that we all face as teachers, there's something really magical about teaching as a career. And I really want to get out there now and inspire the next generation all over the world. If you love dance, consider teaching as your career, because in the right dance school, in the right environment, you are part of this wonderful community, and you're helping these little children love who they are, to express who they are. They develop confidence, creativity, all under your watch, and you're there seeing them blossom and thrive. And it is absolutely a wonderful career. Anyway, I've got off track today, but that's my video for today: how to find a great tap teacher for your dance school in 3 easy steps. Thank you so much. My name is Christine Denny. I'm the founder and creator of tapatakoz, tapatak-oz.com. I've been specializing in teaching tap dance for over 35 years. And I just want to share my passion and joy for teaching tap dance with the rest of the world and get the next generation really fired up and loving tap. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful tippy tap day. Bye.